Welcome to Egg Foo. What? The first and only podcast about people eating stuff. I'm Mike Lisk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again. Once another episode of Egg Food. What? Young Michael, how was our week?
Pretty good. I might as well just get right into it. It's. I had such a unique experience. I can't sit on it until the middle of the show. I mentioned it last week. Today, I went for the Italian sub on a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Red Bank, about a half-hour drive from where I am. There was a parking spot. Red Bank is normally hard to find parking, very parking unfriendly city. And there was a spot waiting for me right in front of the place, as if they knew I was coming. Did my parallel parking thing. I was glad I haven't lost my knack from living in Bayonne. And went to visit a friend over at Jack's Music Shop on Broad Street. Tim Cronin from the band Monster Magnet. He works at the shop, and we had a nice little chat. And then I got my sandwich and drove home. I did not eat it there. I was concerned about a gastric event on the Garden State Parkway.
So what back up and tell us again exactly what this is, the pickle?
It's an Italian sub. The ingredients of an Italian sub, and instead of on a roll, it's on a pickle.
The pickle's the size of a roll.
It's, you know what? I was worried if it was going to be some sort of mutant pickle, mushy mutant pickle.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like a very crunchy, fresh, nice size pickle. I would say maybe it's not even as large as your typical half a sub.
Did you take a picture?
Yeah, I've got pictures. I've got videos. I'm trying to turn this into a viral event. This will all roll out tomorrow, or maybe later tonight with when I post the show.
So the pickle's the bun, and it's about the size of half a sub.
Yeah. And
sounds terrible, but go on.
Well, here's the thing: if you're not into pickles, yes, don't buy this. You have to be a pickle fan, and I'm a pickle fan.
Nobody's a pickle fan more than my nephew, and I don't know I would have a hard time thinking he would eat this, but
no, on paper,
even with his, being a fan of you with the pickle thing.
On paper, it sounds ridiculous. I agree. But then when I opened up the container, he tried to show it to me. The guy who made it tried to show it to me in the shop before I left, and he couldn't get the container open. So
he couldn't get the jar of pickles open?
No. With the container for the pickle sub. It came he put it in a plastic container. He didn't wrap it in paper. I was worried how it would travel.
It'd be funny if the guy was trying to open this gigantic jar of pickles and he can't open. He asks you for help opening the jar of pickles. The very
no. I didn't even see the pickles. I tried. It was hard to see over this counter, but I did see he weighs the meat. That's always a little. I don't know. When you see them weighing the meat, it's like, what? Just cut the meat.
What'd you get on it? It was an Italian.
What's that?
It's an Italian.
So I believe so. I mean, it's here's the card. Elsie's Sub Shop. They've been there since 1959. Older than me.
Barely.
In Red Bank. You went to Red Bank one time, right? The time we saw Marat in Red Bank one time.
Yeah, we saw him. It was right after they had played on Conan O'Brien, and they were playing in this tiny bar. Remember that?
Yeah.
The stage was the tiny corner of this little bar. And I remember thinking, they're not going to fucking play this place. They were just on TV, and they came out and blew the fucking roof off the place.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the place. I don't know if it's still there. It was like a little storefront. Yeah. But Red Bank's a nice city. I
remember the owner came out and wouldn't let them stop.
Really?
You remember he kept coming out. Oh, more.
Okay.
I wasn't at any of the shows I played at, but my band played. But so that must have been 2000, I think.
2000. Okay. You're better with those dates.
Hmm.
So anyway, when I brought the pickle home and I opened it, I literally started laughing because it looks weird, but you know, it looked good. And I know how you're always concerned about the integrity of a sandwich. I
Hmm.
would say this sandwich had more integrity than a Big Mac. The thing
Well,
stayed
that's a low bar. I mean,
This thing stayed together.
yeah.
You know, it didn't turn to mush. Like I said, it was a firm, crisp pickle, crunching. When you took a bite, you had a crunch.
Hold on, let me ask. When you say pickle, what I've been imagining is a pickle that's fully rounded, whereas now is it a slice pickle?
It's like the big barrel dill pickle, you
Like I
know.
picture like a log flume, but the logs are pickles hollowed
Okay,
out
yeah. Yeah,
and
all
made the
right.
sandwich.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work. I mean, it's a nice sized pickle, green, fresh, and
Hmm.
it the integrity held up. You could eat the sandwich, the thing wasn't falling apart in your hands,
Hmm.
stuff wasn't sliding out, and it was a good experience. I have to say it was you know, solid experience. Again, you have to be a pickle fan, you know. The pickle stays with you. Let's put
Hmm.
it that way. I have not had any unusual gastric events since then.
Like how many
Um,
pickles would you guess? Like little pickle chips, would you guess made up? Like if a million Earths make up the sun, how many
uh-huh.
like pickle chips would make up this thing?
I don't know. It was cut in half, so you had two halves. Um,
That's not helpful.
I would say 6 pickles per side, so 24 pickles altogether.
I'm still confused. You froze when I think you were explaining what the thing actually looks like.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw that.
I still can't wrap my head around it.
It's well, we had this discussion last week. The big
Didn't
barrel,
didn't sink in.
pickles. Remember the barrels you'd see,
Right.
and you'd
But I've
have
never seen a pickle big enough like I can make a sub out of it. Like,
well, pickles are made from cucumbers. You've seen large cucumbers,
yeah.
okay?
But it would
Well,
have to be the size of like half a football.
it's not that.
What
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
picturing.
it wasn't that large. Like I said, I think it's if I were to take, and actually they charge less.
Hmm.
You know, I looked at the price for the Italian sub on bread was like $15. This unique dish was like $12. So they sort of realize that it's not as large as their typical sandwich, so they cut you a little break on the price.
Do they act like they invented this? Did they invent it? Did they make a big deal out of that? Or
No, I chatted with the guy for a little bit. You know, I told him that I had seen an Instagram video about it that intrigued me. That's why I'm here. And I asked him, you know, whether he's been getting a lot of foot traffic as a result, and he said yes, they had.
hmm.
So you know, these little videos can you know, help. This is a small business. I mean, here's the funny thing. It's like an old. It's been there a long time. They've got two doors. When you come off the sidewalk, there's like two doors in this entryway, and I
Hmm.
picked the wrong door. I ended up in some some shoe store that literally looked like from the 1930s. Nothing had changed, and it was sort of a. I felt immediately sad when I entered it because it just seemed like who would ever buy their shoes here? It just seemed so old and dilapidated.
I
But
mean, you are buying a sub with pickle
well, no,
bread.
I went in the wrong shop. There's like two doors right next to each other, and when you go in this entryway, you just think it's for the sub place. But
Mhm.
I went in the wrong door.
I did that at a funeral home once. Went into
Really?
the wrong room. Was
Well,
very
yeah,
surprised. Just
yeah,
me and
that's
ooh,
yeah, that
me
can
and
be
whoever it
awkward.
was.
Yeah.
One awkward
Um,
for him. All right, so you got home, you crack it open.
I have a laugh. I mean, I'm laughing at this thing. It looked better when you see the photos. You're like, that doesn't look so bad. Looks pretty good actually.
Mhm.
And if you're watching your carbs, I guess there's less carbs in this sandwich. But a friend of mine was warning me. She's telling me, don't eat that thing. You're going to go into sodium shock. I don't know. I mean, the pickle is still laying. It lays heavy.
Mhm.
It's a heavy pickle experience. So if
Hmm.
it's not, if pickles aren't your thing, yeah, do not. I would not recommend this.
That's hard to believe for even if pickles are your thing, eating that much pickles.
Yeah,
What's a
but
fruit that could be used as bread? Like
well, maybe a cantaloupe, melon,
apple, I guess.
apples.
Melon's too juicy. Well, pickles are juicy.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised. I ate it in one sitting. It's good. The meats were very fresh. Uh, I wasn't sure. He's making a thing. He's like, "Do you want lettuce, tomato, onions?" And I said, "Well, is that what people get?" He's like, "I could have got any sub. I mean, I could have got a turkey on there, anything. It's just a concept."
Hmm.
I didn't ask about the origins. I should have asked about that, how it got started.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm thinking like, remember the sitcoms of yesteryear where every time there was a pregnant woman on a show, she had cravings for pickles, right? That was like a
Okay.
line. I mean, is that still a thing?
It's still
So
an old wives' tale.
yeah. So
I don't know.
yeah,
I've never met a pregnant woman who did actually crave pickles.
pickles. Yeah,
Like I've heard them craving other things, but not once. It's never pickles.
right.
Or
I
maybe
think.
they do, but then they feel like they don't want to be, pigeonholed. Like it's so cliched.
Hmm.
Like a dog pissing on a fire hydrant. Is he like, hey, you know what? This is fucking bit on the
There's
nose.
probably been one woman who was married to a television writer who
Hmm.
craved pickles, and we've had to suffer that cliche, as you say, for ever since.
When my mother was pregnant with my little brother, she craved at the Safeway, they had those like big bins of generic cereal,
Okay,
and she craved puffed wheat.
puffed wheat. Okay,
Puffed wheat. We go in there and get fucking barrels of crate wheat of puffed wheat.
I don't think my mother ever divulged any cravings that she had.
What if she craved pickle sandwiches?
Well,
Not
there's a
sandwiches with pickles, but sandwiches made of pickles.
well, this place would have been made to order. Uh,
Now, are you going to go back for a second one, or would you
well, it's
never
a
even
half-hour
consider it?
drive. No,
What if it was next to you?
if
Like,
it was next to me, maybe
or
in the summer, it would be a nice little break.
mhm.
Like Jersey Mike's. Those sandwiches are so heavy. I can only have one of them every month or two. You can't really eat them on a regular. Although
Mhm.
when I started working in Hoboken, like in 2002, I was eating at Blimpie's every day. I don't know what was wrong with me. I mean, it wasn't like, I mean, we had a cafeteria, we had access to all these other different places in Hoboken, and I was going to Blimpie's every day. I mean, I
Let me
love those. I love those sweet onions they had. But no, I would not eat this every day. I don't think anybody would. I think it's a novelty item.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a nice little thing. Yeah, I mean, people
It's
are hearing.
interesting. It's interesting they have it priced as a like. They seem to want it to be a regular item because other if it's a novelty, you think they just say fuck it, charge you $15, knowing you'll never buy another one.
Right.
It's interesting they seem to want to make it like a quasi regular thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the board. I couldn't find it on they had a board, tacked to the wall, like all places, and I couldn't even find it on there. So I just said, hey, I'm here for the pickle thing. I'm here.
Pineapple could be used for bread
Yeah.
because it's long enough. You can make it long and flat enough. Pineapple will be good.
It's got to be firm though. The key to this pickle was that it was firm. I mean, I've gotten those mushy barrel pickles, and they could be soft, and that's what I was afraid of. I thought it was going to be a soft pickle that would just sort of fall apart as I was eating it. And I'm happy to report it wasn't that. It was juicy. The juices were flowing.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I went through more than the usual napkins for this thing. But then again, you get the juices at Jersey Mike's, and that's all over your hands by the time you're done. So I can't say it's any more uh, messy
Hmm.
than Jersey Mike's.
And when did you get this?
Today, I
Oh,
went
today. Okay.
I went
That's
before the
why you're
show.
still feeling it.
Yeah, I'm still
So no problems
it's not two
as of
days
yet.
ago. Yeah, no. I've had worse gastric events after some of our takeout dishes.
Mhm.
So I survived.
Hmm.
You would never try it though. You're not that big of a pickle guy.
I would try it just because it does seem interesting enough. I just can't imagine making my way all the way through it just because pickles are like, I love pickles, but like, I mean, I love grapes, but I can only eat so many grapes.
Well, that was my thought when I got it. I was like, "There's no way I'm going to eat this whole thing now.
Mhm.
I'll eat a half of it." And then as I'm going along, I'm like, "No, this is tasty.
Mhm.
I'm not full, so I went for the whole thing."
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
if, I would try it. I mean, but yeah, I just can't imagine finishing it.
wait till you see the photos. The photos
I'm
really
gonna
sort
need to
of
see the photos. Yeah.
do it justice. You look at it and you're like, "Wow, that looks pretty good." Um, but the key is the pickle. The pickle made this thing. If it was a soft, mushy pickle, forget it. It would have been a disaster. Maybe there's days they don't get the crisp pickles. I don't know.
Are there soft, mushy pickles? I feel like I don't remember.
Yeah. Some of them get softer. If they've been in that barrel a little too long.
Well, I didn't have anything that exotic to eat, but I have to say, I got a Wegmans pizza Saturday.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's the greatest pizza I've ever had in my life, but it was shocking. This crust was like butter.
Uh-huh.
It's unbelievable. I
Yeah.
know nobody's gonna believe me. I can't tell. It was like, it melted like butter in my mouth. It was unbelievable.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know where my nearest Wegmans is. I think it's not very close. Maybe I'll try and hunt one down and just to you've been raving about the Wegmans pizza experiences. You
Hmm.
should you should have a deal by now.
You think so?
Um, if only
Well,
you,
I missed it the other day. They had, I thought I took a picture of it, but it didn't come out right. Big sign on the slice counter, chef's special. I was like, oh, what's this? Guess what the chef's special was?
no, I don't know.
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni. Okay.
Or as they called it, pepperoni and cheese. I don't know if the and cheese is necessary.
Yeah.
I don't know why pepperoni was the chef's special,
Uh-huh.
but I can't blather on
That's
enough
what he
about.
made, so that's the special.
I mean, yeah, usually their pizza's solid, but this one Saturday was unbelievable. You're not getting a better pizza for that cost.
Uh-huh. What is
So
the cost again?
I can't remember.
Under five
It's like
bucks?
it's like I got like four. I got two. Well, here's what I'll tell you. I got double sausage and chicken. And I think it was like $13. It's a medium.
Uh-huh.
It was like two meals throughout the day for me, basically.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like $13.
All right. No, I'm glad you're not getting ripped off anymore. I mean, uh, that was one of the downsides of the takeout menu. You were paying two or three times what
Well,
it normally should have cost. Um,
what I do.
yeah. You're talking about pizza. I'm gonna
Well,
jump
hold
on.
on. My next thing should be try doing all the Chinese food in the Chinese foods frozen section at Wegmans. Maybe that'll be my next journey.
All right. I mean, I thought we were doing that. We did a couple. I mean, I sort of burnt out on that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Uh,
Then you went away from it, and then you did your whole Greg, you're free thing.
yeah, well, you are free. I want you to be free.
Mhm. So, yeah, maybe I'll try that. The Wegmans Chinese food.
Uh-huh. I mean, the way you're going, I see you getting a deal with Wegmans at some point. Um, do
Now,
they run?
I will shit on Wegmans when it comes to that, because finally a couple months ago dawned on me. I'm like, why am I not signed up for Wegmans rewards program?
Hmm.
I'm here 3 times a fucking night, a day, whatever. So I get excited. Meanwhile, at the Giant I used to live next to, which was the shittiest Giant in the world, you didn't even have to sign up for anything. You'd buy your whatever, and on your all of a sudden your receipt you say, "Oh, you saved 98 cents,"
Uh-huh.
or "You saved it." It was always it just make your tail wag a little bit, like
Yeah.
found. Um, so what I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to really lean in and maximize this thing. And after a couple months, it's a total bust. There was no point to the Wegmans rewards thing. You punch in your phone number every time, and then thanks, nothing.
Huh.
So I love Wegmans with all my heart. I love their pizza and their subs and the stuff. But their rewards program, I'd say it's a joke, but it aspires to be a joke because it doesn't even fucking exist. So Wegmans, I love you, but you are on fucking blast for this waste of a rewards program.
They don't have those little cards that they scan.
Yeah, yeah. They give, oh, here's your customer key code or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Boom, and then it's the boop, and they're like, thanks.
Okay. So you're not getting stuff that's on sale, obviously.
No,
Yeah.
and it doesn't tell you. Again, Giant was great at this. Like if they have a oh, paper towels are $2 off, unless you go to the coupon that you clipped on their app and whatever, they don't tell you. Like, whereas most places automatic, oh, here's your $2 for the paper towels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why for a store that is usually so thoughtful about shit, this is a total waste of time.
No, I have those little cards
Thing.
that they scan. Yeah, and they're always a pain fishing them out of my wallet. Stop and Shop, I do see the difference. Like they'll run it up, and then
Mhm.
I'll give them that card. They zap it, and then you see the stuff coming off.
Yeah. And
But
again, it doesn't even if it's like 40 cents, it's a
right,
little lift to your
yeah,
step.
yeah, no,
Gives you. It's like
I mean,
found money.
yeah, no, I mean, it can be substantial. I put off food shopping as long as possible. I just do not enjoy the experience,
Mhm.
and so I put it off as long as I can.
I love
And
food.
so, what's that?
I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
food.
you love it, yeah.
Well,
All right.
I told you back in college, I used to, I mean, now I regret it because it's an asshole thing to do. But I used to go around in my cart just collecting shit I wished I could buy
Hmm.
and then leave,
Yeah.
which was a dickhead thing to do because now I realized somebody had to come put it all back on the shelf. A better version when Fresh Direct first came out, you remember that?
Not really.
It was like the first, like, hey, we'll bring groceries to your building or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like
All right.
20 years
Oh,
ago.
okay. That was one of those, yeah, mail things.
And I posted it. I have it somewhere on X's time. And I went through, oh, I want this, that. I got the bill up to $20,000.
Uh-huh.
Total fantasy shopping.
Really? Okay.
And I know someone was on the other end, like, oh boy, I'm about to wheel
No,
in the big white whale.
no, I'm
Then
thinking
afterwards,
somebody on the other end is saying, "Uh-oh, we've got a drunk one on the other side."
oh no, they were like, oh, this is my if I can get this commission, and then boop, cancel.
Yeah.
In theory, I like grocery stores.
Yeah, I thought of a prank. Maybe you could, maybe this would be an idea for you could probably pull it off better than I could. Like the Impractical Jokers who do little pranks. I don't know, maybe they even did this one.
Mhm.
While I was shopping this week, I thought like I could envision you where you would take something, maybe something expensive like a steak or something, and just put it in some strangers, but to teach them a lesson. I mean, some people leave their carts, right? They abandon their carts and they
Mhm.
walk up an aisle and they leave it there stranded.
Oh, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So maybe
I always
teach.
assume when I come upon one of those, I always assume that all of a sudden cameras are all over me watching to see what I'm
Well,
going to do.
well, there are cameras all over, and yeah, no, you should keep that in mind. But maybe accidentally drop something into the car. Maybe bump into it, and just sort of, oh, I didn't realize I dropped my steak in your your basket. And then they get up at the counter. Of course, you're not even going to witness the payoff of the joke because they'll be checking out. And it's like, I didn't put this in my basket. What's this doing here? But then you're
Well,
right. Somebody's going to have to put it back. And
well,
it,
usually I applaud any shenanigans, but at this Wegmans, I am somebody. It's it's the only time, like my sandwich guy, my sandwich girl, it's the only people that light up a little bit when I
here he is
walk
again.
into a room.
Now, are
Uh,
you in there every day? Are
every
you
day, of
every
course,
day? Okay.
of
All right.
course.
All right.
So there I carry myself with a little more esteem. I don't know
Okay.
if I want to be seen as little Greggy shithead. Now at another grocery store, I did that when I was a teenager with my high school girlfriend. This was peak comedy. We were shopping somewhere, whatever, and she's not paying attention. She's pulling the cart. I just threw in like 20 things of Tampax or tampons or whatever. And then we get to the cashier and she's like, oh my God. So joke's on her though.
Uh-huh.
She dumped me. So boom.
Right after? Right then?
Oh, oh,
Right then?
probably thought about it.
Didn't want to make a scene.
It's probably an early symptom.
Did you get a very funny? Very funny, Greg.
Probably. That
Yeah.
sounds like her. Very funny, Greg. I'm guessing I was one that lugged it all back to the shelves, but yeah, no laughs on that one.
No laughs.
But yes, I'm up for the shenanigans, but I carry myself with a bit of import around that Wegmans.
I think I've mentioned I've been doing a lot of walking in the neighborhood, getting to know my neighbors. Over the weekend, I walked up the street on Saturday, and a pit bull across the street.
Fuck that.
Across the street, not on my side of the street. So I'm just walking up the street. This pit bull charges. Now, it didn't cross the street. It stayed on its yard, but it made an aggressive, it got my attention. Let's put it that way. This thing's charging at me, growling.
On a leash?
No leash.
Fucking A.
The owner is sitting on a bench in front of the house. He's watching this all go down. So I'm just staring at this dog. I mean, it did stay. It stayed. I don't know if he said stay or it's mildly trained to not leave the property. I don't know, but I had
That'd be
to say,
funny. Mildly trained, like a half-trained dog.
half trained.
Like it knows what to do up to a certain point, but after that, just loses his shit.
Yeah.
Maybe someone was training him, then they died.
So I'm still walking past and I'm looking at the dog. So I have to say something to this guy. I can't let that go unchecked.
Not in Jersey. No, sir.
So I said to him, I said, you don't have a leash? And then he goes, I don't need one. And then
you said, well, how about one for the dog?
No. I said, my response to that was famous last words, right? And I guess,
yeah, yours.
and
is this an old guy?
No, he was younger than me. I would say he was in his late 40s, maybe. So, and he's a big guy, of course. The guys with the tough dogs are always the tough guys, right?
I like the tough guys with the tiny dogs.
So, I thought I said it loud enough. He starts charging. He started charging just like the dog. Yeah, the guy started charging me.
Right.
And I'm just standing there, watching what he's going to do. But then he didn't leave the property. So So it was a nice little.
They both had an invisible fence keeping
I
them on the
guess
property.
so. They both had the invisible fence. You know all about my invisible fence experience, right? Years ago, when I was working at West Group, I used to ride a bike the back roads around down
Should
here.
I pretend I remember this story that you told?
Well, when I get to the
Like the book, like the
when I get to the
Marcus
injury,
Aurelius book
maybe
you're
you'll
talking about?
remember. So yeah, I used to drive by this house and I'd see this German Shepherd sitting on a porch. And for the most part, just about every time I see it, we were cool. You know, he didn't bark at me, he didn't move. I'd drive by, I'd check him, you know, hey, he's cool. But one day, for whatever reason, because animals are unpredictable, he charged me, and I tried to outrun him on the bike. But he did something I never expected, which was to go right between the wheels. he just
Wow.
he just dived right between the wheels. I got tossed. I wasn't wearing a helmet at the time,
Not back then.
and I landed on the top of my head. You don't think that's possible that your body, my body, a
I mean,
large body,
it makes sense.
uh-huh. But that's what happened. I literally flipped over, landed on the top of my head, inches from a driveway. If I hit the driveway, that would have been the end of it, I think. But I hit like dirt. Uh, I knew I was immediately hurt. I had broken my collarbone.
Hmm.
So I knew I had to get to the hospital. And I actually went up to this house and got them. I was able to make a phone call. I told them what had happened.
The house of the dog.
Yeah, the house of the dog. You know, the dog
Did you
kind
tell
of.
them they were going to have to do a Christy Gnome and
This was pre Christy Gnome,
okay,
but yeah, I don't know what became of the dog.
probably dead now. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it was a long time ago, but I did have a little lawsuit. I got some bucks.
oh, I was going to joke. You actually
Yeah,
sued them?
yeah. I mean it was bullshit. You know, it's
Oh,
like control your dog. You know,
what
it's
year
not
was this?
hard. And so the same thing with this guy. It's like control your dog. Your dog is not going
Especially
to
a
hate
fucking
you.
pit bull. I mean, come on
Yeah.
now.
A dog is not going to hate you if you put it on a leash. They know they rely on you for food, so they know it's in their best interest
Hmm.
to behave so you can continue to feed them, right? So anyway, so back to my story, I continue walking. Next day, what is the likelihood it's going to happen again? There,
Slim?
him and the dog sitting out in front of the house, and I'm like, holy shit, here we go. And but the story has a positive ending.
You
Um,
wave a pork chop around? Just
no,
inviting
I
them?
did see him before I got up to the house. I saw that he had this leash. It's one of those stupid leashes. You ever see these leashes that reel out like a fishing rod
Oh,
and
God.
it goes like 20 feet out?
Yeah.
Have you seen those things? What, what is
They're like the long measuring tape spools.
exactly? It's like, what is the point of that thing? Again,
Just
the
have remote
dog,
control.
the dog isn't going to hate you because you have him on a leash. Just control your dog. So I'm passing the house. The dog is sitting there calmly, not a peep,
Hmm.
did not move, did not flinch. I didn't say a word. We were cool.
Hmm.
So I hope he got the message, right?
You
You
think the
know,
dog is cool with you because he said, "Fuck it, this guy stood up to me"? Like they say,
no,
bully.
no.
You stand up to them.
I think his owner realized that if he continues to just let this dog run rampant, being aggressive to people just walking by, that he
I mean,
could
of all
get.
dogs, a pit bull, like
Yeah,
you think it'd be a little more, like a
yeah.
little terrier. I see if it gets out of control, you'd be surprised. But a pit bull, that's in the job description.
Hmm.
You fucking lunatic.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, they're dogs, and all dogs are different, and so on. I mean, there was a guy who used to come into the bar with a pit bull. The dog was well behaved. They're different. Yeah, I get it. but the pit bull owners are very defensive about it, you know. But
Yeah.
just look at the newspaper once in a while. They're the
Yeah.
breed that causes the problems,
The reason they're all defensive about it is because they know their dog is like at any second could be a murderous asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not down with pit bulls. And I love dogs.
Yeah, no,
I love
I
pit
have
bulls.
nothing against dogs. We had dogs, three
Mhm.
different dogs, and we had a fenced in backyard. This guy could fence his backyard in. This dog could roam around free as can be in his backyard, but I guess he chooses not to do that. So now, so far so good. I took that as a positive sign that he's gonna, be a little more careful when he's got the dog out in the front yard.
Are you looking forward to the next walk because you're hoping there'll be a bit of a confrontation?
Now I've had a couple walks since, so it's just been the two back-to-back days.
Now that your presence on the neighborhood streets has been announced, there's been no further trouble.
Maybe he looked up the phrase famous last words, and he figured it out.
Who has a pit bull in 2024 and thinks, yeah, no problem, no leash?
Yeah, well,
Just asking for trouble.
yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry. I know he'll say, oh, but little Bessie is sweet and smart. She does my taxes because she's so fucking smart.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure she's a sweetheart, but he's gonna fucking go nuts on someone.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to be looking on the bright side here that, I registered my complaint. He did have it on a leash, albeit it was a 30-foot leash.
That
And
part I like. The
but
absurdity
the
of that.
dog did not act aggressively the second time I walked by. So I'm taking that as like, okay, I got my point across.
Tell me more about this lawsuit. When was this?
It was when I was at West Group, so maybe late 90s.
You had that legalese flowing through you.
Yeah.
You were like,
I,
fuck it, I can do this.
I went into work, but no, I was just angry.
How hard was it to sue somebody? Like, how hard was it to?
It's no big deal. I actually knew the lawyer. He went to school with my brother,
Uh-huh.
so I knew him.
Was
He
the owner
doesn't.
at least like, wow, yeah, that's fucked up. I'm sorry.
Well, they have insurance. They have homeowners insurance that pays it.
Yeah.
So it was basically an insurance
Is
thing.
that why you quit West Group and disappeared for 7 years?
No, I didn't get that much. But it was the principle. I just, come on,
Was it
control
enough? Let me ask
control
you,
your animals.
was it enough that you'd do it again if you could?
Yeah, because it's, I mean,
If someone
that.
said, Mike, go on this bicycle, at some point, a dog's going to come tearing through, you're going to pop off, hit your head, break your collarbone, and you'll get this amount of cash. Would you do it again?
No, because it was very painful. I mean, when you break your collarbone, it's like they can't put you in a cast or anything. They give you a brace, like a harness you wear, and it's very awkward because.
Sounds like you settled.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to get my point across. I wasn't looking for a big payday. It was just the principle of the thing.
What did they teach you at West Group?
How not to work.
Exactly. How you not work after not working in a law firm is use your law skills to sue somebody and then get in their house
How to play video games all day on the job.
and stack up checks.
Solitaire on your computer. I remember just walking around when I started working there and just seeing like one after the other. It seemed like every other cubicle, the person had a solitaire, and anybody walking by can see it. It's like, okay, I guess it's casual here.
Coming up on 25 years.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
2 years. That needs to be a Broadway play. The downfall of West Group. How these motherfuckers blew it. You guys could still be coasting, cashing checks.
No, to tell you the truth, I mean, on the one hand, I met a lot of good people there. I'm still friendly with, and but on the other hand, the after work drinking was beyond Mad Men levels.
Well, we couldn't have kept that up. But
I
during
mean,
the day with the internet, I mean, during the day, you could be cranking out writing screenplays, doing, taking 8 hours of classes through Princeton all day,
yeah.
which is
No,
what I did.
like I said, it was a good gig. I was happy. It was in the West Village. It was a nice part of the city, great part of the city. Um, I enjoyed my time there, but
What was the $10 all you can drink place on Thursdays? There was a horse on. Remember, there's a horse on the sign.
that's the White Horse.
No, I won the White Horse.
Antarctica.
I don't think was it.
That
Was it?
was that one we went to all the time.
That was a big one. That was the one where if your name was whatever name they had chosen, you got to drink for free.
I
And
think so.
and one of the bartenders had a crush on Ope. And so like for a while, if your name happened to be Ope, you get free beer for a couple of weeks there, I think.
I think what was Ricky Hustle? Didn't Ricky Hustle try to do a flaming shot, and the flaming shot went sort of flowing down his shirt or something?
That explains a lot. He is on the Mount Rushmore of West Group.
He is. He would.
Him and AC are 1 and 2. Sorry. Those two guys you
Okay.
cannot invent.
All right, let's get back to the real world. I finished the.
But we didn't make the softball thing happen, so we have to make the West Group reunion happen in 2 years.
I finished the Dave Davies book.
Mm-hmm. What year did that come out? Because he's been blowing up a new one.
Yeah, he has another one. This came out in like 95. So
Yeah.
it literally, it's kind of interesting. Actually 96.
So he doesn't mention you being his best friend in that. That's in the newer one. Now that you guys are so
That'll
tight.
be in the next one. Yeah.
That'll be the next one. Okay.
But, I enjoyed the book. Have you heard anything? I mean, you read this book, you're going along, right? Then you come to chapter 15. And he talks about an experience he had at the Sheraton Hotel in Hampton Row,
I've
Virginia.
heard something about yeah.
Oh, you've heard about this?
I know something in Hampton, something weird. I'm drawing a blank, but whatever it is, yeah, some aliens or something, or was it aliens? Something.
He calls them intelligences.
Yeah.
Let me give you a taste for some of the people. I mean, it just throws this book totally out of whack. It's like you don't know what to do after reading this.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Let me give you a taste.
I mean, it didn't surprise me when I heard that. He was a very open, I would experience everything in the 60s kind of guy. So I'm not surprised he saw UFOs or whatever.
I mean, he was at this point, he was getting into, he names a bunch of yoga books. So some, that he was getting into. He was.
I mean, I don't know if that's as weird as seeing aliens, but
he was into astrology. He was into a lot of what I guess just sort of falls under the category of spiritual these days.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about he had a sudden pressure in and around my head. It felt as if an invisible metal band or something had suddenly attached itself to my forehead and was pressing in on me. After a few moments, it subsided, giving way to the strangest sensation that my whole head was expanding. Then it started again. It was as if some kind of psychic switch had somehow been turned on inside my head. Momentarily dazed, I tried to collect myself. And then he talks about the pressures were like metal fingers and that there were intelligences. He could sense these intelligences. They had particular smells. And it just keeps going on and on, getting stranger and stranger. There's 5 intelligences. 2 may have been aliens. One may have been Jesus.
Mhm.
He's talking about the world of ethers.
What year did he say all this happened?
82.
That would be about the time when Jesus would need to show up and help the kinks out a little bit. Getting that little burst. So he saw Jesus, and then suddenly they had a big hit with "Come Dancing." So
Well,
maybe
he talks
something
about
there.
that the show later on that night at the have you ever been to the Hampton Coliseum? I mean, it's kind of a famous venue down there, right? No?
I've driven by it a bunch, but yeah,
Uh,
I don't even know if it's still there, but
I think it's still there.
probably is. Yeah.
But anyway, he talks about performing later that night and that a light beam went out over the audience, and it really, that light beam sort of made the moment, and it sort of brought the show to a whole other level. Um, and then even Dave the next day said, "Whatever you did last night, do it again." So and he said that this experience with the intelligences went on for like 6 days, and then I guess they just went away.
That the intelligences came in, poked around, and after 6 days, that's enough. Although then again, God built the universe in 6 days, so
Yeah.
lot of stuff with 6 days.
Yeah. So, I read that. I'm like, okay, something went wrong here. Something happened. I'm not saying he just made it up for the book,
Mhm.
but it could have been some sort of a nervous breakdown of some sort. Something happened. But
He
he feels,
seems he seems very open to stuff like that, like
yeah. And
one of those guys. Yeah.
I mean, when you're reading the book, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. He's quite frank with his sexual exploits. I was looking at some of the reviews on Goodreads, and the people were like sort of giving him the business that he went into a little too much detail with that, and I guess I kind of would agree. Uh, but here's the thing: I mean, the book sort of comes around at the end. It's very touching when
Mhm.
he reunites with the woman, the grown woman now, 30
Right.
years later, the woman who he got pregnant when she was 15,
Mhm.
and the families had separated them,
Oh yeah.
and they told him stories that they didn't want to see each other again, that type of thing. Uh, the woman sent a letter to Dave, and she wanted to have him meet his daughter.
Mhm.
Uh, and he tells that story. It's very touching, very moving. So I recommend the
Didn't they
book.
get back? Didn't they try to get together, but only lasted a little while? And
Well, yeah, I mean, he kind of, well, no, they wanted to have like a relationship, as friends type of thing.
Mhm.
He was already with another woman,
Mhm.
uh, and I guess he showed her the picture of the other woman, and they look alike apparently. So
Oh, I thought
uh,
you were going to say she was like, "Oh, goddamn, I can't compete with that."
no,
Fare thee well, David.
no, no, there seemed to have been some sort of resemblance that I guess he has a type. But no, they didn't have a relationship. They just agreed to, be on friendly terms. So it's a nice ending to the book. I recommend the book if you're a fan. But he
What was the most
says,
interesting music thing or
well,
album song line?
actually, I mean, I think he sort of he agreed with my sort of assessment that he even comes out and says that he wasn't too thrilled with all the concept albums that happened in the 70s.
I don't think anybody was thrilled. Ray, and that's it.
Ray, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't pull any punches about his relationship with his brother.
Mhm.
He's just said he just felt like he was constantly being bullied and hurt by him, and his credits that he should have gotten were left off. So yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation, and it doesn't seem to be any
Well,
origin. Like,
well,
yeah,
well, that's it. Number one, that's the thing. Uh, and number two, I mean, he's your BFF, so you're going to get upset. he did stick around in the Kinks until '96, until they broke up. So
Hmm. But he
at
was
some
doing
point,
solo.
it's saying, all right, well, uh, you
Have you
know,
listened to any of his solo albums?
no,
No.
no, no. I'm not sitting through Ray's solo albums. So
Okay.
no. Have you?
No, but I'm tempted after reading this book. Yeah, I didn't know really about his solo career at all.
Yeah, I'm
He
sure it's
talks
fine. I'm not,
he talks about a couple records. I mean, I looked up one of the records, seems to have gotten decent reviews. Glamour, I think it's called.
but they do seem to have a genuine. I mean, psychologists will tell you it's because they had six older sisters, and then Ray was born. So then when Dave was born, Ray didn't like Dave getting the spotlight or whatever. I don't know. They did seem to just kind of rub each other the wrong way naturally.
Hmm.
Because I've never read anything musically where they had a fight. Like this is a perfect point. Dave doesn't like it, but he kind of goes along.
Hmm.
I've never read too much stuff about them fighting about the music or anything like that, where it seems to be just personal. One of them walks into the room, the other one kind of gets a little ruffled.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, there doesn't seem to be a specific thing other than if you want to do the pop psychiatry with the, you know,
Well, they were so successful so quickly, you know.
yeah,
So that's why he stuck with it. Yeah, I mean, if they
yeah,
were,
that's the point. He didn't mind those paychecks coming in every 2 weeks.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
but that's why, I mean, anybody would try and keep it going. I mean, it was successful right off the bat, pretty much. So he tried to hang in there, and he was always trying to, they talk about the collaborations on different songs, and I don't have an example ready right now, but there is some of that where he talks about how a song got written.
mhm.
He'd come up with a riff or a line, and Ray would work with it, and he acknowledges his brother's talents. It's not like he's saying he's talentless through the whole book.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, he compliments him throughout as well. It's not all digs,
Yeah,
but I'm sure Ray did not appreciate the frankness of the
yeah.
book. I haven't read any of his books. He's got a couple books, right?
I got that X-ray specs one he did or
Oh,
whatever,
you have that? Yeah.
and it was just too confusing because it's like
He's trying
fiction,
to
but
be like a character, right? Or
yeah,
something.
it's like, bro, just tell me a fucking story. Yeah, I don't like that shit. So
Yeah, I heard that was like a concept book.
yeah, so I'm like, fun.
He came up with the concept for the
Yeah, you
book.
don't have to be super creative all the time, Ray.
Uh,
Uh, but did you read the new Dave Davies book?
no, I think I'm done with this. This covered the whole area I'm interested in. I don't know what his book could be about. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it covers the period I'm interested in. So,
yeah, that's what I would think too. Yeah. I mean, he
uh,
wrote that came out. He was only what 47, 48 when that came out. So on
yeah,
one hand, you're like, oh, it's a young man for a memoir, but to your point, do I really give a shit after 1996 or whatever? No.
yeah. Well,
Now you might because y'all are best friends.
at the end of the book, he's still optimistic about the future for the Kinks. Although you wonder if like the whole book deal was because he may have saw the writing on the wall that he needed some extra income. So yeah, he doesn't write off the Kinks at the end of the book, even though the end was near.
Yeah. I
You
know
know,
Death of a Clown is the one I've always heard him being a little salty about because it's his song, but it's generally known that Ray kind of took it and made it a great song.
hmm
I can't remember now if Ray has a credit on it. I don't think so. That's the only one I've seen him get his feathers ruffled a little bit.
uh
But
Other book news. Rest in peace, Alice Munro. Are you familiar with her at all?
no, I saw she died, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
Canadian writer.
Well, there you go.
Uh, this is her selected stories. I haven't read this collection, but I read previous ones, and I really liked her stories. Her stories are really good.
Hmm.
She never wrote a novel. She just is a little intro. I did read the intro for this where she talks about how she wanted to be a novelist. She tried to uh, when she was early in her career. She had an idea for a novel, which she eventually scrapped. But then in life intervened, and she just found that she would do her writing around being a mother, uh, other things she had going on. That short stories was the form that worked for her.
Not
Time
everybody can write a novel, Mike, or two.
too.
And
So
I'm sorry,
anyway,
nobody
yeah,
asked you to be a mother. I
yeah.
mean,
But
I'm making a
anyway,
priority.
great writer. People should check her out. Um, Selected Stories, I guess, is her greatest hit. So
You get, speaking of John Lennon, you getting this new John Lennon Mind Games box set for $1,350. You seen this fucking thing?
they're just gonna try and grab every penny
Well,
that they can get out of. Well, I mean, it can't last forever. I mean, let's face it, they're fans that got to be dying in droves now.
if you want to spend $1,300 for 4 versions of it's not my favorite album, 4 versions of one album and a coffee table book. Oh, and there's an interactive puzzle or something. So there you go. Uh, I mean, I'm not a Lennon solo guy anyway. I'm not any of them solo. But I
I've
thought
told, yeah,
no, but it popped up, and then I went, but so I went to the site, $1,350
yeah,
for 4 different mixes of the songs of the album, and then like some stickers with John Lennon. It's like, come on,
yeah. No,
somebody's gonna buy this fucking thing.
no, yeah. They know their market, so they know that they've got some rich guys out there. They'll put out anything. I mean, I told you I troll on some of these these records YouTube channels. Norman Maslov is a very popular one. I go over there, see what he has to say. And he went to some record fair or whatever. And he had this a Beatle merch. It's a player for Record Store Day this year. The Beatles put out these 3-inch singles. It's like, and you had to buy a device to play the things on. That was $200
Never
to
heard of
get
that.
that to play these.
But at some point, it's like, why wouldn't you charge $1,300? Somebody's gonna buy it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're just throwing
They're
stuff
paying
at the
that for a Taylor
wall.
Swift ticket
Yeah,
for one night. At least this you get to keep it.
yeah.
I've always said that about rich people. Don't charge $1, charge $1,000. Then they'll be intrigued.
No, it amazes me. I mean,
But like,
yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that album anyway. Are you a big Mind Games fan?
it's not my favorite. I think it's a solid record. It's okay. But yeah, I'm not gonna buy this super deluxe, super deluxe for the super rich version. Uh, no, I was at Jack's music shop earlier today and looking through the records, and I'm just like, who's buying records? These are $30 records now. I mean, when I was young, I couldn't have
Oh boy.
afforded that. So who's
Wow.
buying these $30 vinyl records?
People like us, old white guys like us.
I'm not, but no, I'm into the streaming.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
do the streaming at this point. I don't
Well, that's
need,
another thing. Uh, of course, when this Mind Games thing pops, you'll just be able to stream it on Spotify anyway.
right? Yeah.
So it's like,
No, I don't need the objects at this point. I mean, I got the objects when those were the only ways to get the music. So now streaming is making it so much easier. I like the music. I don't need the objects. So
I did get the Beatles singles box set.
mhm,
I don't know if you saw, I put together a snappy little video for it. So that I'm excited about.
mhm,
And it has picture sleeves from the different countries they were released in, which is fun too.
mhm.
So You're not into that? You don't want to talk about that? You're not interested in that?
No,
Oh, the Beatles get taking more money.
I think we've explored. We're up to date on Beatle content on this podcast. We've covered the Kinks. Um, let's get back to food in the news. We've lamented, these mishmashes that uh, different places are coming up with. Pizza Hut is getting into the burger game with a pizza cheeseburger mashup called the cheeseburger melt.
In America?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they usually, I see shit all the time, like in
All
Korea,
right,
they're
yeah.
doing crazy shit.
Yeah, a pop-up store in Taiwan.
Walk me through this one. This
It's a Parmesan coated thin and crispy crust, folded. So basically, picture a quesadilla. That's what it looks like. It's a quesadilla in the shape of a slice of pizza. There's beef, applewood smoked bacon, onions, mozzarella, and cheddar cheese. And then if that isn't disgusting enough, there's a dipping sauce.
Mm.
It doesn't say what the dipping sauce is made of, what the flavor is. But like I said, it looks like a quesadilla. You know, I don't know who they're fooling.
What if fast food restaurants played a huge April Fool's Day joke on everybody, and each of them served the other's food for a day?
That would be interesting.
Thank you, Mike.
Maybe you can pitch that on social media.
Although I guess after like the first 5 minutes, the joke is over. But like, what would be it? Oh, maybe it could be one item. That's the joke. Burger King is selling the Big Mac, but they swear they've never heard of McDonald's. They don't know what you're talking about. They've always had the Big Mac. Be one of those things. Like you pick one dish and then swear it's theirs.
Okay, that's an idea. Throw it out there.
Is it an idea?
See if you get any bites.
Or they switch fries. All right, I'm gonna write that down. What would be the best practical joke?
I've got lots of props tonight.
Which is great for radio.
Well, this is why people have to watch.
Tostitos, hint of lime.
Hint of lime.
I don't love the. I'm
You
not
don't like those?
I don't love the lime. I mean, that's all there is. People think they're being fancy. They put them out for you. I'll pretend to eat a couple, but
I felt I needed to switch up from the regular ones. I like it, but I can see why people might complain, whether it's real lime or it's just chemical lime.
Well, let's take a guess. I mean,
I think it probably is chemical lime.
Yeah. I didn't know that was part of the question.
But I had it last night. They're okay. But this brings up another subject. Maybe this would appeal to you. You ever get like something, your initial reaction is negative? I think I may have talked about these Flax Plus Maple Pecan Crunch.
Okay, right off the bat, Flax Plus Maple. We're looking at old man cereal. So the audience knows.
Oh no, but you're missing the always organic.
Always organic.
So this was
in the flax. I assume it's old people food.
So it was in the natural garden. I think they call the health food section of my Stop and Shop. And when I tried it the first time, I literally thought I was eating rocks. It was hard. That's like
like when you try to eat grape nuts as a kid. Like, no wonder this is only for war veterans.
But then I had it again. I had the whole box to finish. And you know what?
You gotta let it set in the milk for a little bit.
I think maybe
that with my shredded wheat. I gotta let it sit for a minute.
Maybe that's what it was. But so I've come around on it. I actually like it a lot.
That's how they get you, That's how they get you to the next age group up here. Once you start eating old man cereal, that is a slippery slope, and it ends in a.
Who was the spokesman for Winston? Remember that commercial? Are you old enough? There was a spokesman for what is it called again?
Talking about Quaker Oats, Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, yeah, Wilford Brimley. I,
Yeah,
re- I, re- I remember how to do the thing in school, and I think we had to come up with a commercial or something, and I powdered my hair. I didn't have white hair in grade school, despite what people may think.
wait, he did those commercials all the way back then. I'm not being funny with how old you are.
I
I
I
will
think
be funny about that. He did those commercials back then.
I thought he did, or maybe there
Wow.
was another guy. Tell us in the comments. There may have been another guy. Say the name of it. I keep blanking on the name of the cereal. Grape,
Quaker Oats.
no, grape
Oh, Grape
nuts.
Nuts.
Is that what it is? Grape nuts.
Oh, he
Yeah.
didn't do Grape Nuts. He did.
Who did grape nuts then?
I think he was Quaker Oats. I
Uh,
don't know because Grape Nuts. That commercial will pop up on the TV, and you're a kid, you'd sprint out of the room.
well, I think there was an old guy who did grape nuts, and so yeah, that's part of how they got that reputation.
Yeah, you
And
gotta let that shit soak in milk.
I
Grape
remember.
Nuts, you have to put them in milk, go eat other cereal, and then come back. And by then, maybe they'll be.
Yeah, I goofed on the guy who did those commercials back when I was a kid, and went over well. I got a good response from the kids.
That's when it all started. That's when you got the fever.
Oh, I used to be able to crack the kids up in class. No, I was pretty good.
Those days aren't coming back, Mike.
No, they're not coming back. No.
Well, speaking of fucked up cereal, I discovered for the second time, I've been getting this fucking shredded wheat cereal. It's like shredded, which is wood chips. It's wood chips and milk.
But it's loaded with sugar.
Well, I'm like, oh, gee, I'll try to be healthy. And then I notice the peanut butter and chocolate. He's like Reese's peanut butter cup cereal. That shredded wheat is 210 calories per cup. The peanut butter fucking Reese's peanut butter cup cereal, 170. How is that?
Maybe it's what about the serving size?
They're the same. Whatever.
Really? Okay.
Cup, eighth of a cup, whatever it was. How absurd? How crazy is that? So why? And someone will say, "Well, the shredded wheat still has to be healthier." No, it's the exact same, but fewer calories. So how do I choose to eat shredded wheat? How can I convince myself to eat the fucking shredded wheat when basically I have a bowl full of chocolate chip cookies with peanut butter sitting there waiting for me? For not just equal calories, not like, oh, it's close enough. It's not even close in calories.
Yeah, no, that's a head scratcher. Maybe our audience can tell us what is the healthiest cereal? Is there a healthy cereal? Because
how does shredded wheat have 25% more calories than basically chocolate candy in a bowl?
Is there sugar in it? That's got to be the question.
Of course, there's sugar.
Okay.
Is it
the frosted shredded wheat or what?
Oh yeah, they have a little blueberry frosting.
Okay. Well,
but the idea that these things can be in the same league is insane.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say about cereal. It's not healthy in general, I don't think. But
I mean, I bet there's more calories in grape nuts than this cereal. But obviously, nobody in their right mind would say, "Well, then you should be eating this cereal," even though it literally is the exact same except fewer calories. Ergo, healthier.
What if you slipped into Wegmans late at night, right? This is a 24-hour.
I do. I mean, what do you mean, what if? Call me at 11:45 tonight. I'll be at Wegmans.
But here's the thing. You got this Wegmans 24 hours, right? It's open?
No.
Oh, I thought it was a 24-hour Wegmans.
Only it's closed from midnight to 6. So.
Oh. Well, you can slip down there late night, before midnight. I imagine it's fairly empty.
Yep.
This can be a literal studio for you to do videos. That's your first video right there.
My first video.
You just do a comparison. I mean, I think the world needs to see you holding up a peanut butter Reese's.
Well, I already did that. I posted it like 3 or 4 days ago, whatever.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, there's pictures of it. Because it's crazy.
I missed it. But do you hear what I'm saying?
It's like when I discovered the salad at KFC had more calories than their double down chicken sandwich thing. What are we doing?
But do you hear what I'm saying, though?
No,
You've
'cause
got
I'm talking.
you've got it this access to Wegmans. It's literally right downstairs. So think of that as your studio. You can
Mhm,
go down and shoot videos when there's nobody around in that place.
mhm,
You can get some great content, bro.
mhm.
Are the wheels spinning? Do I got the wheels spinning?
No,
No.
no.
I'm saying you got this
What do you think
thing.
I do?
I'm saying you can blow the lid off of Egg Foo What. You start churning out late night videos at Wegmans,
Mhm.
10 o'clock, shoot between 10 and 12. Did they literally kick you out? I mean, did they drag you out of the place at 12? I mean, that's when
No,
the guys are loading the shelves. I mean, I know that that's when they go in and start loading the
I've
shelves.
never put myself in a position to be dragged out. No. I
Okay.
don't taunt them to like, it's 11:59. I'm still here.
But man, you've got your own private studio right beneath you.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I think you can do it. I think you can do it.
I should do more stuff. Yes.
We'll see how this Pickle Sub video goes over tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
excited. It sounds
I
like you
I
really,
I think it's it could blow up.
mhm.
I think
This will, if this
this
is
could be
the
the
one
one.
that goes viral, I will be pissed. After fucking killing
Uh-huh.
myself for 2 years with this bullshit, if
Uh-huh.
this one that goes crazy, I will fucking go crazy.
A judge has weighed in on whether or not tacos or burritos are sandwiches. Where do you stand?
I don't call either one of them a sandwich.
Right.
If I had to, I would say a burrito is a little closer, but no. Why do we do this?
Well,
Can't things just not be sandwiches? I understand with the hot dog. All right, it gets a
yeah,
little excited because it has a bun. And when can we not? Is pizza a sandwich?
yeah.
Why do we do this?
Well, this had to do with a legal case at a mall where they were trying to discourage chains from coming into this mall, McDonald's and so on.
Mhm.
So they limited it to sandwich shops, and
I'm sorry. Why would a mall not want a McDonald's? I mean, I'm sorry. You don't want people in your mall?
where was this? Oh, this
Is
was
this at the
in
Kennedy compound or something? Like, who?
where's Fort Wayne?
That's made up.
Where's
It's
Fort?
Indiana.
Where is it?
Indiana.
Okay, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, come on. The Midwest, they're keeping McDonald's out of the
Well,
mall.
maybe they're trying to put on airs at this particular
Come on,
mall.
come
But
on.
this
The mall should be like, please, McDonald's, please come to our mall.
well, maybe they don't want the kids hanging out there. It's a kids hangout.
Is that what malls do? They don't want kids hanging out? I know it's been
Well,
a while
malls are
since you and
going away in general. I mean,
I
they're
know it's been a while
dying.
since you and I have been in a mall, but I'm pretty sure,
I mean, you see these dying mall stories all the time now.
I'm always shocked there's any left.
Well, it's true. Yeah, you're right. How do any of them exist? People don't want to leave their homes.
Yeah, it's like,
They
oh my
want to.
God, there's one blockbuster left. I'm like, well, how's that fucking possible? Where's
So anyway, this judge weighed in, and this Mexican restaurant will be able to open. He said that tacos and burritos are sandwiches.
the restaurant wants them to be called sandwiches so they can legally be in the mall.
Yeah, they're looking for a loophole. They found a loophole so they contested whether tacos or burritos can be categorized as sandwiches, and this judge made a ruling. I guess he never heard of a tostada, because that is literally a Mexican style sandwich, right?
Or a torta, right? Isn't that what a
Torta,
torta?
yeah, yeah, torta. Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just make a pretend torta. Have it sitting there. It's like in college when we'd have fraternity parties on campus. You had to have non-alcoholic beverages and food available. So yeah, we'd pull out the same 2 liter bottle of Pepsi for the whole year and a little bowl of popcorn or whatever. That's what they should do. Put out a little torta. Don't nobody fucking touch the one torta. And then boom, sandwiches.
yeah.
Because now is it? I mean, I could just shut up and listen to you tell the story, but I'd rather talk through it. Isn't that isn't now aren't the mall people just pissed now? I'm like, all right, well, fuck you then. You went crying to a judge. They don't have to let them in the mall, right? Like now you're
Uh,
pissed off the people you were trying to ingratiate yourself with.
yeah, I hear your argument, but I guess they wanted to. I guess they felt burned. Maybe, there was a prior agreement, and then they got tossed out. Who knows?
Roy Kroc would have set up shop across the street and just put that mall out of fucking business. I don't know. What team are you on with this one? It's like,
Yeah, he found a loophole, and like you said, it's not the first time this has come up. New York has had to deal with. You're talking about, burritos were compared to hoagies, hot dogs, and gyros. Do you call it gyros or gyros? I hear people call it gyros.
I've heard people say Euro,
Gyro.
and like you could not pay me enough to try to pull that off in a conversation.
But wasn't it gyros for years? Isn't there a Seinfeld episode where they're calling them gyros? I thought there was some episode.
But a gyro is not the same as a sub.
No, it's a Greek. I mean, Bayonne had a great place.
Yeah, I love a good gyro.
Oh, this place was, yeah. If it was closer to me, I would have been there all the time. But it was in Midtown, and
you were at Blimpie's. You were at Blimpie's every day at West Group.
No,
What was the cafeteria like at West Group?
At West Group,
If I ever went into it.
did they have one?
That would be fun. Everybody send in photos of your workplace cafeteria. Like I don't know how many people have one. Mine's pretty good.
No, Wiley, when I was at Wiley in Hoboken, even though, like I said, I was going to Blimpie's every day. They had a really good cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
And I started going there. I couldn't continue the Blimpie's obsession.
Extravaganza.
But are you aware of the fried rice syndrome?
Do I have it?
No. I saw an article about fried rice syndrome is when you don't reheat rice correctly.
Oh.
And you can get this syndrome. There's a bacteria that isn't killed in the cooking process, and it lingers. So when you reheat it, you have to be careful with it, because you got to make it very hot, because this syndrome will leave you vomiting and with diarrhea. I just zap it in the microwave for like a minute.
Sliding in the first, and it starts to burst. Diarrhea.
Say that again. Is that a little haiku?
When you're sliding in the second, and you need some disinfectant. Diarrhea.
Yeah. Okay.
When you're sliding in the third, it's a really tasty turd. Diarrhea. When you're sliding into home, and it starts to foam. Diarrhea.
Okay.
That is a reading of Diarrhea by me.
Wasn't that a song? Like a sing, one of those.
Remember, you get diarrhea. Diarrhea. When you're sliding in the first, then it starts to burst. Diarrhea.
Okay.
Diarrhea.
Yeah.
I was reading it a little more classy.
Yeah, no, I had a
because usually I
another
go,
Proustian moment. We have so many. When you were saying it, I was like having a vague I remember that repeated refrain of diarrhea. It brought
usually
it all
I
back.
get more excited when it's sliding in the home and it starts to foam. But for this, I kept it classy. But so the rice is fine the first time you eat it, but sometime between then, when it cools down.
Well, the rice is fine as long as it's
the devil's rice.
150 degrees.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, apparently the bacteria is still alive if it's below 140 degrees. Yeah, I mean, it's something I never thought about. I've never had any troubles that they're describing. So, I mean, just putting a word out there.
Just put in the microwave, minute and a half, boom. Fried rice left over sometimes is better or as good the next day anyway. So.
Oh yeah. No, I do it all the time. It's just I never thought it was an issue. The following segment, I'm giving warning to people they might want to skip.
Better than our diarrhea song?
It's well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to keep going in this horrible direction. Did you see the story last week? I mean, every day brings these surprises of human behavior that you just marvel at. There's nothing to do but marvel at. Because it's where else is humanity going to go? I saw a story. The headline was a castration club ringleader.
I'm in. Got me.
Right. A castration club ringleader who made testicle salad was sentenced to 22 years in prison.
Is the two supposed to be funny? Because everybody has two balls and the judge thought it'd be funny.
I don't know if the judge was making a joke. But Marius Gustafsson, who actually I knew a Gustafsson when I was a kid, but this is in the UK, was the head of a British-based body modification club. And he, as part of that club, I don't know what the dues were. It doesn't say what the dues were.
I think the dues were your balls, apparently.
He castrated nearly 60 men.
Jesus.
They claimed he earned over $250,000 over
60 guys?
Over 6 years through his website, The Eunuch Maker.
So that's like 4,000 a dude. Two grand a ball.
Thanks for the calculations.
What do they do? Do they just chop? How does it work?
Well, I guess
I'm revealing myself as not knowing as much about castration as one may have thought.
Well, yeah, there were different ways they did it. Some guys did it themselves.
Like with a knife? Like what's the...
They just, they go at it. What's that HBO show with the guy John, where he sort of goes around the city and talks to people with oddballs. I thought you were
Wilson, like how to do this, how to do that.
Right? Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I've never watched it.
Okay.
He did one on how to castrate people.
Well, no, he did an episode where there was a guy who self-castrated, and I guess there are guys who get overwhelmed with the sexual urge. It's a powerful urge. Let's face it. It's biology, at its lowest level.
Yeah, but there's got to be something before. Well, let me get this rusty knife and saw my nuts off.
Well, I think some guys get religious, right? And they have this whole conflict between religion and sex.
And then the guy that shot John Wilkes Booth, didn't he castrate himself right after or something like that?
Yeah, there was something like that, right? Yeah. But now you can join a club, and they call themselves nullos. As in
no low-hanging fruit?
Genital nullification.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Imagine if you got recruited. Like, who gets recruited by that club?
I don't know.
Mike was seeing you in the gym, seeing what you got swinging. We can do a little choppity chop.
I don't know. I don't know how you get your mind fixated on that.
Well, the name of the club is Body whatever. Like, do they do other stuff? Like,
well, the website's the Eunuch. Yeah, do they? Well, it doesn't say whether they had cookouts or.
If it starts with, no, I mean, like, what
they had volleyball,
something like Body Improvement Club.
No,
are there other things I could enjoy other than the splicing the balls off? Or?
No, they had a very narrow focus, obviously. I
mean, there's plenty of my body. I wouldn't mind going somewhere, some club, and dudes chopping up and doing whatever, but not in that area. No.
Yeah. So the details just keep coming. So. Of course, this leader got to keep.
I'll tell you what's not coming.
He got to keep the testicles, and for lunch he would heat them up and layer them out. And this is in quotes.
Would he let you? Would he do it in front of the person whose nuts they were?
It doesn't say that.
Like that would be like if you really want to get rid of your sexuality or whatever impulse
And
you're
then
trying,
eat it. Yeah, I see what you're
you'd
saying.
sit there and watch the guy eat it, right? And
Yeah,
be extra like,
right. So yeah, he would layer them out as a, and this is in quotes, artfully arranged salad pattern platter.
nice. I mean, it's like Rocky Mountain oysters, right? What do you think they
Yeah,
put on them?
I don't know. I don't know.
Can they put that in a pickle and make that
Let us
salad?
know in the comments what you would what salad dressing you would use. Um, the leader Gustafson had his leg penis, and this is a detail that just part of his nipple. He couldn't part with all of the nipple.
Mm-hmm.
He only parted with part of it,
Nope.
and he claimed that he removed these parts of his body because he wanted to look like Ken down there.
Fucking Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. Who knew
Yeah.
that movie would have such an impact?
Well, I mean, now that you say, I'm not surprised. Now that you said it, like, oh, oh, it does make sense. Of course,
Seems to
somebody's
be.
going to go out and saw their balls off.
Yeah.
That is something.
Yeah. No, it's every day of the world.
And if I hear these motherfuckers refer to their girlfriend or wives, I'm going to really flip out. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, no, it's we don't learn much more about the Nullos. Maybe we could do some research about what the Nolo
If any are
life,
listening, call
lifestyle is
in,
all about.
let us know.
Yeah, because I guess once you rule sex out of, you have to find new things to do, right? I mean,
Hey, hey, nobody's balls are more useless at this stage in life than me. All they do is cause trouble. They get longer every summer. They're sticking to my legs. They do nothing but cause trouble. And there's no chance I would voluntarily let you saw my balls off.
no, it's
They
yeah,
are as pointless as he could humanly be.
it's against nature. I mean, if it's against nature, yeah, let's let nature. Like I said, we've talked about the bird nest. What's going to happen down there? I see that Keith Richards is doing a little TNA. You know, during his segment of the Rolling Stones tour is Back in Gear.
He's showing his tits and ass. What are you talking about?
No, but it's got a new twist at his age, right? Little TNA was kind of like, yeah, it was a little TNA, right? It's like now it's little TNA. Like there's like barely any. There's just little. So it went from, you know, seeing a little bit of the TNA to getting little to TNA. you see,
Longer?
you see my point here?
No, I'm totally lost. I was
There's
going to
two,
move on to make fun of them for surely
there's
starting off their shows with "Start Me Up," but
there's two ways, two meanings for the word little, you know. But
you
so
know, I think you're talking about tits and ass when you say TNA, right?
yeah, well, that's what the song is about.
Oh,
But I'm saying now, when Keith Richards sings it, is it a lament? Is he doing? Is he doing it just thinking about olden days? That
I would think that's all these motherfuckers think of. Like,
he's just nostalgic for when he used to get some TNA, and now there's so little of it.
well, that's what I brought up 100 shows ago. When one of these guys is that old and look back, is it sadder to have lived a life that incredible? Because now you know what you're missing now, as opposed to just a normal, dull kind of like nothing,
You're
happens.
right. I mean, if your life is not on that level, and then it comes down to, you know, our level,
Yeah,
it
and at
must
the
be
end you're like, all right, that was fun, that was
it
good.
must be quite a crash, right? It's
But yeah, you Keith Richards, you look back like the shit you were doing,
uh-huh,
that must be depressing.
uh-huh.
Like I think the example I use is Paul McCartney looking back at footage of when they came to America. Like you can't imagine how incredible that must have been. And like he must look back sometimes like, God damn, that was fucking crazy times.
It was crazy, but then there must be some comfort in the fact that he can go walk down a street without being
Right.
chased.
But like that
Yeah.
last 5, 10 seconds before you die,
Uh-huh.
is it worse for someone like that because they did have such an incredible life?
No, they had it. They know they had rare lives
Hmm.
compared to normal
Which means they're
people.
going to miss it more. Theoretically,
No,
obviously, you don't.
I get your argument, but then they say, well, I had it. Joe, what's his name, did not have it. So so I had a better life than he did, so there's comfort in that, right? I mean, he reached a level that very few
Oh,
had.
you'd still want to have an incredible life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like I believe it's the Temptations said,
I,
um,
I mean, there must be a certain amount of glee
a
in
taste of honey is worse than none at all. That's what they said.
yeah, exactly. And there must be a certain amount of glee these guys get when they're meeting, when they're having their Zoom calls and they're pitching new products to them. And they're talking about, $1,300 for a re-release, a reissue with a coffee book. It's like they must get a laugh out of that.
That would be great if John Lennon could pop up, 44 years after dying,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
hey, great, just in time, we're re-releasing this album as a bit of a box set. Uh, Great. How much is it? $1,300. He would fucking drop that again.
Well, yeah. But Yoko's running the show now, so she must derive some sort of satisfaction, I would think.
I doubt she even knows any of this. She's 93. She doesn't
Is
fucking
she
care.
that old? I didn't realize.
Yeah, yeah. She's older than him.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't give a fuck about this shit, I'm
Mhm.
sure.
I forgot to mention that Alice Munro, yeah, she was 92. Um, but apparently she had dementia for 12 years. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, my father had it for a little over 2 years, and that was a nightmare. I can't imagine what 12 years of it is like.
Hmm.
Uh, are the 80s and 90s worth it, really? I mean, I don't know if I want to live that long, if it could be a potential nightmare scenario.
Could be. Are you looking at me for comfort?
I'm just throwing it out there
Uh,
because, yeah, I mean, I'm not picking an age, but when you hear these stories about the 80s and 90s, I don't know, it can't be really something to look forward, can it?
well, then you get a skewed view of it because yeah, you see Paul McCartney come out and you're like, oh, he's 100. Yeah, and it's like, well, he's a bit of an exception.
Hmm.
Most people, it's probably pretty terrible. Yeah.
Hmm.
But then it's like, do you live your life in a way that prepares you for those years? Or do you say, fuck it, I'm probably not going to enjoy those years anyway. So enjoy everything up to then. And when you hit 80, your health is probably going to be shitty. You know, ne-
Yeah,
Never mind, of course, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow.
true.
Uh,
No, or
like
get
I
more.
know that I need to lose weight and do this and
Hmm.
that so
Hmm.
that when I'm older, I won't be more miserable.
Hmm.
But then it's like, well, I'm living now. I want to have a pizza.
I worked out this little thing where literally I just walk out walk out the door, and I do a little figure eight lap around the couple blocks around me, and it's exactly a half hour, which they say, to get a half hour every day.
That's probably about a mile and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I don't know that I feel better. I think I've been out of shape for so long that I'm like, yeah, I feel the walk for a couple days, and I'm like, I hope this leaves. Uh, but my mood is
There's nothing better for you at our age than
no, my mood is
walking.
improved. I definitely feel a lift. Especially right after I do it, I was like, okay, I get a little sweaty. I mean, it's still relatively cool. I mean, once it gets hot, I figure I'm really going to be
Mhm.
uh, pretty sweaty by the end of that
That's what I
little
do at
trip.
Wegmans. Like I'll look for excuses to go down and then I'll do a couple laps,
There you go.
like 20-minute clips.
Yeah, okay. I mean, in your neighborhood, is there like a way you can map out a little path? Like, is there a way you could figure it out?
Yeah, but
Is there a park nearby?
Yeah, I definitely could, but I like again, I like being in grocery stores. Uh,
Well, yeah, the old, the malls used to be a place the elderly hung out,
that's right.
right? They
That's
used to
right.
do
They do
their
their
walking
walking.
in the malls.
I need to do more walking at Wegmans, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, there was a show, maybe 20 years. It was one of the cavemen. Remember the Geico cavemen?
Yeah.
One of them had a show where he inherits his dad's grocery store. It's called 10 Items or Less. And I loved it. It was like some small town, crappy grocery store.
Uh-huh.
I think it lasted like 10 episodes, but I loved it. My dream, if I was a gazillionaire, it would be to like have a grocery store that I could just like, it doesn't matter if we make money.
Mhm.
People come in, take what they want, but I get to, oh, I want chicken here. I want more uh stovetop here. Oh, that would be a dream. If I didn't have to worry about running it to make money, if I was just a gazillionaire, you just have it
Uh-huh.
like a playland, like Mr.
Yeah.
Beast. If we could get Mr. Beast to sponsor this and let me live in a grocery store for a month for like $1 million, I would do that standing on my head.
Uh-huh. Okay. I didn't know about your fondness for grocery stores.
There's a comfort to them.
Mhm.
I mean, you're literally surrounded by food, which is,
I mean, I've got the Stop and Shop with have you ever seen that robot that roams around in Stop and Shops? They literally have a robot.
everything I know about Stop and Shop is from Roadrunner. So.
No, they have a robot that roams around, and I don't know. Is there a camera that they're looking to see? Is it checking on people for shoplifting? I don't know, because it
Is it
doesn't
supposed
seem
to
to.
help you? Like, can you stop it and ask questions? Like,
No,
where?
no. There seems to be no purpose other than to get in your way and annoy you.
That's
So
creepy.
so
Well, well,
yeah.
that's another good thing about a grocery store, even late at night. Like, I know you like the thirst for human connection. There
Yeah,
are people
yeah,
out
I'm
there.
wacky that way.
Yeah.
I'm a
Uh,
Looney Tune.
well, yeah, you're a big warm teddy bear. Uh, so if you want to be around people up to midnight, there are people, you can kind of, otherwise I'd have to go out into like the woods or something to find people. But yeah, I love grocery stores. If there's any gazillionaires out there looking to set someone up with a fun grocery store play toy, hit me up.
Well, that should do it for this episode.
Did we cover diarrhea?
Yeah, we did that. You had a little ode to diarrhea. Is there anything else you'd like to get in there? Last shout outs?
Nope.
No, Patrick.
Oh, I almost creeped out a woman. I probably will tonight. On this, when I go home to get from the train at my stop, it goes across the highway. You have to walk across the highway.
Right.
For some reason in the morning,
Is it a bridge across the highway or
yeah,
a light?
a busy highway, and you got to walk across this overpass.
Oh, okay.
For some reason in the mornings walking, I don't have a problem.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's because there's a slight incline. I don't know. Afternoons, it's a white knuckler. I'll wait for you. I'll pause while you laugh because
I mean, I don't know anybody who has a more complicated commute than you do. Every day brings new and alarming. So,
it's
all
not
right. So,
it's not
what?
complicated. I don't understand why they didn't just build it underneath.
Uh-huh.
It's like a subway system. I don't know why there's trucks flying by. It's crazy. And like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't do well. So for the last
Now
year,
it's enclosed though, or is there? You can jump off of this thing if you
no,
wanted
no,
to.
no, it's enclosed, but you can see it's open, but closed,
Right.
like
Yeah.
screen kind of
Yeah.
thing. I
So
probably
you don't like the heights and the fast moving cars?
I don't know what it is. For some reason, the walk home it's a white knuckler.
Okay.
So what I have to do is kind of get myself going, kind of have like a launch in the beginning, and it's like 40 seconds. Try to, I'm like kind of like Frankenstein. If you saw me, you'd probably make fun of me. I'll pause for laughter.
Well,
But
you're doing the impression, you know. I'm laughing at the impression, you know.
but but I can't stop because then I'll freak out. Like I don't know what's going to happen if I trip or something. I will freak out. I'll have a panic attack. So I just got to kind of bust through it, try to. And for the first time this happened, and I have to stay in the middle. I can't go to the sides.
Right.
Stay in the middle, keep up this speed, and just get to the other side. First time ever, boom, there's a woman in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trucking along, and but I'm going at a slightly faster pace
Okay.
than normal. And so I'm kind of like breathing down her neck. And I'm trying to like Jedi mind trick her, like, hey, I'm not a super creep. I'm just, and like
Uh,
I think she noticed me. She didn't, she kind of moved a little bit, but it wasn't enough. I'm still barreling down the fucking middle.
but you couldn't move around her. You couldn't take
No,
the initiative.
no, I can't go left or right. I can't slow down because then, you know, and so then I get to the other end and I like whipped around in front of her and I was like, because I didn't know, for all I know, she lives in my building.
Uh-huh.
I don't think she did. She peeled off. I think she had parked her car there.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm not a creepy McCreeperson, And she was nice. She was
That
like,
was
oh,
the exact line you used?
yeah. I was like, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I was a creepy, and I was like, I'm just,
Yeah.
I just said this thing creeps me out. And she was sweet. She's like, oh yeah, yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But every day, and then I wondered, is it a morning and afternoon thing? But one time I had to leave early, went back at like 11 in the morning, and it was still shaky. So there's something about that that I have to white knuckle and causing me to the other day almost run over some poor lady in front of
And
me.
this
So,
has been going on a long time?
a year, yeah.
Yeah.
Since last March when the line opened, and I
Mm.
took the train home.
Have you thought of talking to somebody about this?
Is that not what I'm fucking doing?
No, but I mean, I'm not a professional. I mean,
To me
you
then, like,
want you want some professional advice? Maybe you could get like
you about to give me some?
human blinders. You
Well,
know,
but why is it fine in the morning? In the morning, I can bebop.
well,
I can go left. I can go to the side. I wonder if it's because there's a slight incline. So there's something about my perspective.
huh. It's something I'll ponder for a week. I can't.
Okay. Well,
I can't give you. I don't have an answer to that. You said it yourself. It's not an issue in the morning. Why should it be an issue at night?
I don't know.
You know.
And then the whole week has been fucking ambulance, where it's like every time I'm trying to walk somewhere, somebody else is synced up perfectly where I can't overtake them because that would be too fast, but I can't slow back. It's been at least one of those every day where I'm synced up with someone walking. It drives me nuts.
Well, yeah. On my new walking regimen,
Oh,
I
we're calling it a regimen. Okay.
I see. I'm seeing my neighbors out, and people are walking. And here's my strategy. When people are walking, say it's a person and their dog.
But I'm sorry. I don't mean like leisurely walking. I mean, I got to get from point A to point B, like as a work or whatever.
Yeah.
Like where you have to like.
Right. Yeah. No, this is I'm talking about my situation when I'm walking and people are coming at me, or whether people are moving slower than me and I have to go around them. I always take that initiative to go around.
Mhm.
I mean, it sounds like you need a little more courage to
No, no,
to,
no.
to
I'm
go
talking about
to
like
go around this poor woman who had you breathing on her
well,
neck.
that's different. I couldn't do that because of the thing. I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about normal. I'm talking about on land, like
Okay.
normal. Uh,
Right.
but sometimes if somebody's going a little too fast, for you to pass them, it's really weird because then you're going too fast, and then it's like a thing.
No, yeah, well, it's
You're
it's
saying no matter how fast, just sprint by them. But then you have to keep that up because they're going kind of fast.
yeah. Well, in my situation, I always go into the street. I have wide streets. Fortunately, it's not a narrow street, and I can walk along in the street until I pass them. But you're right. It gets weird if you're going about the same pace. Now you're like parallel for, that happened
Yeah.
one day. A woman was walking her dog, and I tried to get past her, and then guess what? I didn't have the speed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Okay.
break out. Not going to break out into a little jog.
Yeah, you don't
Then
have
I
that
look
fifth
like
gear anymore.
I don't have that gear. And it's funny, when I get behind people, they just seem like, yeah, they're strolling, and then I can't even catch up with them. It's like,
Yeah.
I guess, I guess I don't have the same speed,
Well,
you
then
know?
you get stuck behind someone and you're going slow as fuck, but they're far enough off that like you have to calculate, are you going to make that up so you can pass them, or are they going so slow you start going slow because you don't want to have to catch up to them,
Yeah.
and then that's a fuck. And then I start thinking, are they doing this on purpose? Do they know what they're doing? Which is
Lots of
obviously
head
crazy.
games.
Of course they don't know. They're
Yeah.
not doing it on
The
purpose.
psychology of walking. Maybe we can do a joint collaboration.
Too much.
The,
Too
the
much.
psychology of walking.
That's
Yeah.
why I don't leave my fucking house.
There's got to be a book out there.
Well, maybe someone has something brilliant to say about the thing about the overpass. Why
Uh-huh.
I can do it one way, but not the other.
Okay.
So
In the
it's a
comments,
every time it's
in the
a
comments, you know where it goes.
every time, and I've been lucky every time. But if anything slightly goes wrong, I'm not looking forward to seeing what happens. I will
Yeah.
freak out.
Uh-huh.
So that's all.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for listening. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Every subscriber counts. And we're shooting for 500 now.
Are we near 500?
No, no, we're not. We were only got about 300 and something.
Then let's say we're shooting for 100,000.
Might as well shoot
Thanks
for
for
the
everybody for
stars.
listening. Do what Mike says about the subscribing and everything. If anybody has any genius about my walkway in the afternoons, pass it along. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.